Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the Hungry Millennial back with yet another proactive pragmatism. Today's pragmatism comes from Hal Elrod's quote, confront adversity and find the advantage. In life, we're going to want to develop the ability to think differently about any circumstance. It could be work related, it could be home related, it could be family related. But by thinking differently, we can go out and find the advantage. Because what will happen is over time, we'll get to a point where we're having trouble maybe at work. So let's start with work. For instance, I deliver boxes for FedEx. And every morning that I would come in, we would have maybe different loaders loading the trucks. And those loaders, they started at 4 in the morning and 3 in the morning started loading the trucks, so a lot of them were exhausted, and honestly it's a pretty brutal job, so there's a very high turnover rate, and I'd often find myself getting into the warehouse super frustrated because all the packages on my route were in the wrong places, right? And my boss had set a standard where we had to be at work at like 7 in the morning. um Actually, more like 7:30, but um and at times different people were getting in at 7:45. You get very complacent, your body's tired, you're exhausted, so you're getting in at sometimes getting in at 8. But if they're releasing people at 8, that means that puts you behind because I have to drive an hour almost to deliver the packages in another town. So I started analyzing, like, I was like, okay, so I can't control the people, I can't control the individuals here, but what's in my control? And when I started looking at it, I was like, okay, well, if I get up a little bit earlier and make a standard of being at the warehouse at a certain time, I mean, a lot of times these days I'm getting in there around 6:45, 7 o'clock before a lot of the other drivers get in there. But that way, I can make sure I got enough water so I can take on a day and stay hydrated for the next day. I can sort my packages stop by stop so that way I'm not spending a bunch of extra time on my route trying to swim basically through packages that are all over the truck because it was misloaded. So I kind of took it upon myself, because I can't change anybody else. I took it upon myself to find the opportunity to get in there early, but it also shifts my schedule to where I'm not getting home as late. Um, and also, from time to time, you'll run into a train. So that's adapting to unforeseen circumstances. But once you know the lay of the land, once you're able to look at the entire day and like think about all the different things that could possibly happen, even though they may not happen, um, it sets you up for success. So that way you can take on that day, that week, and even that month, and pretty soon it's a year that you've just been rolling at a high level. And even during the moments that you're not rolling at a high level, it's going to help you fight through those and see the better days that are on the horizon. And it's also going to help you think about, like, what are the problems and what actually makes things the problems. Um, and is it a problem or is it an opportunity? Um, I think that most problems, like if we didn't have problems in life, a lot of the inventions and a lot of the technology that we see today, they wouldn't be here because there would be nothing to solve. That's what the greats do. They take different unforeseen circumstances and they're able to look at them differently and see how they can affect change, and they can and submit themselves on the world and on different brands and on in their children's lives and other people's lives, and setting other people up for success. And so, but here's the thing. You might get into situations where things are out of your control. That's when we got to sit back and analyze, should we be working for an organization or a boss that ultimately, like, things aren't going to change. There are no new opportunities. There's not the ability to level up. You want to be able to try to set yourself up for success in other ventures. And that might be where you decide that you're going to move to gain a better job opportunity. That might be looking at it like, okay, so has this company grown over the last 5 years? And are they going to be able to sustain what they're doing to continue growing? Is there a huge mismanagement of money that might also change the landscape? And so that's why a lot of people are kind of going the entrepreneurial route and trying to find ways to work for themselves, because they see the era of organizations' ways, but a lot of organizations are so big and they've chewed off so much to overwhelm their staff members and other people that they can't function at a high level. They're thinking way too big and not thinking on the micro level. And so in your life, what we have to start doing is we have to start thinking on the micro level before we go to the macro level, because it's everything in the micro level that's going to affect the macro. So start looking out for yourself, and when a problem arises, point to yourself and be like, what am I doing? How can I affect this? And how can I change these things for myself? And if there's no way, like no possible way, which is quite feasible, that there's no possible way to do anything about your situation, think about changing up the situation. Anyway, this has been the Hungry Millennial, back with yet another proactive pragmatism. And I'm saying confront the adversity and find the advantage. Shout out to Hal Elrod for this quote. Check out his book, The Miracle Morning. Thank you.